What's up, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome to my Monday Night Raw reactions for the week of March the 14th, 2016. Only 3 short weeks until WrestleMania. Trying something a little different here, hoping that I can get the gameplay at 60 frames a second. Let me know if it looks better than it usually looks on this video. So, that being said, my camera, I'm going to do that. I'm going to the S7 soon, but not today. So, that's still there. There is still audio kinks to work out. Anyway, Raw. Raw started with The New Day coming out, and I'm still kind of not clear on the heel-face dichotomy of The New Day, and maybe it doesn't fucking matter. But much respect to Xavier Woods. My phone's fucking buzzing already, god damn it. Turn off the buzzer. Much respect to Xavier Woods for dropping a Katamari Damacy reference at the top of the hour, like in the first minute of Raw, on their promo walking to the ring. Like, that is such an obscure fucking pull. As a video game fan who plays fucking shit, everywhere on everything, I appreciate that, but I would assume that reference is lost on a good, like, 97% of your audience. Even people who play games, like, people who even identify as gamers probably haven't heard of Katamari Damacy. Anyway, that's a great game. Moving on. The New Day fought Rusev and Del Rio because, sure, they fought the other two at Roadblock, so let's play these two on Raw. And they won that match, and after that match, there was a very long beatdown segment by the League of Nations. It just went on and on and on. And apparently they're going to have a match at Mania, but it's not going to be for the tag titles. It's going to be like 4-on-3 or something like that, which, why? Like, shouldn't your ultimate goal being attaining the tag titles? Like, that would make sense to me, so I guess they're not going to have a tag title defense at WrestleMania, which is in 3 weeks. After that, we had a Dean Ambrose promo, which brought out Lesnar and Paul Heyman. And then Heyman goes to leave, which this is a great bit of character work here. Heyman leaves, says, "Oh yeah, we're done." Walks to the backstage area. Lesnar's still standing there, and he's like, "No, Paul, I'm good." He just starts walking into the ring because he's the beast. And Ambrose has a crowbar, so there's a little thing there. They don't actually get into it. They kind of just tease it, which is good. You can't have a pull-apart brawl every week. You already put the guy through a fucking windshield, Anyway, next match is the Ryback versus Sin Cara, whereas Ryback pretty thoroughly trounces Sin Cara and then challenges Kalisto, who's obviously ringside, to a U.S. title match. Now, when Ryback was saying that he wants to grab the brass ring and shatter the glass ceiling and all those promos, he's a big guy and he deserves to be the top guy and etc., etc., I didn't envision that ending with, "Oh, I'm going to go for the U.S. title." Like, kind of, okay, sure. That's what you think is the top, Ryback. That's your own damn business. But that match has potential. Like, I don't hate that match on paper, but it kind of depends on how much time they're given and what they're willing to do with it. So, I'm cautiously optimistic. Anyway, then we get a Steph promo. And then that brings out Triple H to cut a promo. And then that brings out Dolph Ziggler to continue this promo. And basically the bottom line here is that they set up a match between Triple H and Dolph Ziggler later in the evening. And the payoff there is that if Dolph can win that match against Triple H, he will get a match at WrestleMania. Any match, just not the match for the world title. Now I'm like, does that mean if he won, he could have just put himself in the match with Taker and gotten rid of Shane? Could that have happened at some point? Like, it's not going to happen, but that's a weird stipulation considering how many other matches they've already set up. Could he be like, "I want to get in on that Divas match with, make that triple threat a fatal four-way." She said any match. Anyhow, then we had The Miz versus Sami Zayn, and you had Kevin Owens on commentary, who obviously had a distraction, and then The Miz loses to Sami Zayn. It was a serviceable Raw match. I thought it worked a little better than the match he had with Stardust at Roadblock, which the pacing of that match kind of felt weird and off. So there's that at least. After that, you had Naomi and Tamina, aka Team Bad, or what's left of Team Bad, facing off against Team Bella, or what's left of Team Bella, which was Brie Bella and Alicia Fox. And immediately out comes Lana, because apparently Lana is, in this feud with Brie Bella, etc., etc. And that's all well and good, except that none of this makes really any sense. But there was a distraction, and then Team Bad wins, and there's stuff on the outside, and this is all going somewhere, I would assume, to get them all on the card for Mania. But holy shit, I could not care less about any of it. My phone's ringing, jump cut. And now that I've completely lost my fucking train of thought with getting a phone call, my apologies on that. I should have just let it fucking ring. But yeah, so there was the thing with the Divas, and I don't understand what that was. Moving on to the next segment. Is the Social Outcasts pimping out Burger King, and that was kind of amusing. They didn't do their yee 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 thing this week, but I guess that's okay. And I don't mind them doing sponsorship type stuff. With guys, they've been doing it for the past forever. Like Milton Bradley karate fighters. They've been doing it forever, so I don't mind it. Just make it amusing. As long as I'm amused by it, then I'm okay. It's just when it's fucking terrible, like that thing with. Was that, Natalya and Renee Young and Subway. How do you keep looking so good? I eat Subway. That was fucking terrible. Don't do that. But you want to do the Outcasts and Burger King hot dogs? Thumbs up. Go for it. Anyway, speaking of Diva stuff, you had Paige backstage, and there was an interaction with Lana, because apparently there's going to be a 6 Diva match at Mania. And then they went from that to having the thing with Charlotte for the other Divas match at Mania. Not a whole lot happened there. Then you had, speaking of the Outcasts, you had the Usos versus Bo Dallas and Adam Rose in a pretty, kind of whatever match with the Dudleys on commentary. They've confirmed via Facebook that the Usos will fight the Dudleys at Mania. And I think kind of at this point everyone is assuming that's going to be a pre-show match because kind of, who cares? They've been having that feud for a bit now and kind of who cares? Code Breaker. What else? Yes, Dean Ambrose backstage with special guest Mick Foley, which had been rumored for a little bit. Rope break? No, he just kicked out. They had rumored that they were going to have Mick Foley show up, and he certainly did in a backstage segment where he passes the torch, so to speak, with the barbed wire baseball bat to Dean Ambrose. And certainly Dean Ambrose has a history from before he was in WWE. He was in Combat Zone Wrestling and that kind of stuff, all those super hardcore matches back in the day when he was Moxley, I think was his name. And it's kind of, you have to wonder what could have been. So when Dean Ambrose was doing stuff like NXT stuff, there was a rumor that when they were going to call up Dean Ambrose, he was going to get called up and feud with Mick Foley. And they kind of teased it back and forth on Twitter and social media and whatnot, and it ended up not happening because I guess Mick Foley couldn't get medically cleared or whatever it was. So kind of a what could have been. And now they're kind of having this whole backstage interaction thing in 2016. Anyway, then we had Dolph Ziggler versus Triple H in a match. And I want to say this is Triple H's first match since fighting Curtis Axel 3 years ago when they were trying to push Curtis Axel as a big deal, I think. Well, and you got a fake concussion, and it was a while ago. In any case, fun Raw match, and I thought it perfectly, between this and Roadblock, kind of exemplified, hey, guys, this is ring psychology. You don't have to fucking go nuts, bumping your ass off. This is you can get the crowd excited with ring psychology. With a lot of guys these days don't really understand that or how it should be done. My only complaint here is that when Dolph Ziggler sold the pedigree, he sold it like Kane. He had his fucking knee up. No, don't stick your knee up. You land flat on your stomach for the pedigree. Anyway, after this, another code breaker busted him open. After this match, whoa, glitch. We had the return of the conquering empire in Roman Reigns coming down the ramp, not through the crowd. And I feel like this particular, they waited for this show to bring back Roman Reigns as we're not in Chicago, which they just done. We're not in New York yet. Let's do Pittsburgh and see if the crowd doesn't boo Roman Reigns in Pittsburgh. Spoiler, they still booed Roman Reigns in Pittsburgh. Not a lot, but there was certainly some audible booing in that audience. I will say that there were like 3 girls in the front row on the barricade by the entrance that were freaking the fuck out. And I'm sure Vince would love to have 90,000 of those girls at WrestleMania, because they were just losing their goddamn minds for Roman Reigns. That's it. That's got to be done. No one has kicked out of the Red Arrow. No one. And we're done. So you have the returning Roman Reigns. He's beating the crap out of Triple H. The crowd is still kind of booing him here and there. You didn't get the reaction you really would have wanted for your returning conquering hero, etc., etc. They fight all the way into the backstage area. A referee gets hurt. Triple H knocks over a thing. He walks into it, fucks up his knee, or whatever else. And then he got hit with a box. He was bleeding a little bit, and then he hit him with a TV. And then what stops it is in come the Usos, and for some reason, Mark Henry and Jack Swagger. Hilariously, Jack Swagger wearing a fucking wallet chain. What year do you think it is, Jack Swagger? You're not in high school, middle school. Why are you wearing a fucking wallet chain? That no one is going to steal your wallet, Jack Swagger. Holy shit. But they stopped Roman from doing his thing, and that's kind of the end of that chapter. Moving on to what we got here. Long beatdown, Usos, Henry, Tyler. Yeah. Next entry in the Hall of Fame, which was kind of half confirmed last week, which is Jackie. And then obviously that means that next week is going to be Stan Hansen. So good for her. Then we had R-Truth in a penguin outfit talking to Goldust, and I still don't know what the fuck is the end game for R-Truth and Goldust. It's been like 2 months of these things, and as much as I loved when they had Stardust and Titus O'Neil in the backstage stuff doing that for a long time, those were hilarious. R-Truth and Goldust, like the first 2 or maybe 3 were funny, and now it's just like, what the fuck are you even doing? It makes no sense. I don't get it. What's the payoff? I don't think they know. Anyway, next match was Chris Jericho and Neville, which unfortunately ended early because Neville totally ended up breaking his ankle and part of his shin bone doing a baseball slide, the most basic of fucking basic things, and he managed to fuck it up. And he knew he was hurt, and Jericho tried to roll him up for a quick pin. Now, Lil Nate, Charles Robinson, goes to count 3, doesn't count all the way, because I guess he knew the finish. Now, ideally, referee, you want to have a suspension of disbelief. So even if you're working as a ref, what you want to do, even if you know the finish, you count to 3 when you see those shoulders down. That makes it seem real, right? That's the whole point. And he didn't do that. Jericho got fucking pissed, starts shoving Charles Robinson, who was like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, he's hurt! And they go back and forth, and so that's a disqualification, and then Neville wins on DQ, and then Jericho, being the consummate professional who knows Neville's hurt, starts cutting a promo. Out comes AJ Styles, and they get into it for a little bit. And that's the end of that segment. So apparently Neville out for 2 to 3 months, which right before Mania, that sucks. Like, that really sucks. Your actual main event here was Vince, and then Taker, and then Shane doing their promo thing to build thing. Shane calls Taker a puppet and a bitch. He gets chokeslammed for his efforts. Vince runs away. Taker needs to go back to the short hair because his forehead's like back here, and it's just turning into a mullet, and it looks fucking terrible. Like, what are you doing, Mean Mark? So, that being said, I guess my only point of discussion here is that I don't have any context. Like, that first week, when Shane came back, that nobody knew about, came back unexpected, cut that fucking thing, cut that promo, right, set up all the Mania stuff with him and Vince and Steph and everything else. That was amazing. There was intrigue. There was, okay, this could be awesome. There was a thought of, okay, like, the match itself on paper sounds terrible. Shane's 46, hasn't worked in forever. Taker's gonna be 51 for Mania time, right? So the match, whatever. But the intrigue and the build-up, the different directions they could take this feud could have been interesting. I don't know what they're doing. There's no context for any of this. We don't know what's in that lockbox. We don't know why Taker is willingly working with Vince for any reason. Like, there's been no context. And, like, it's making me not give a shit about any of it. Because I don't know what any of these motivations are for any of these characters. I just want a little bit of logic in here somewhere. I know it's wrestling, but give me a little bit of logic, and then I'll be on board with whatever the fuck it is you're trying to do and trying to accomplish with your WrestleMania plans. But that's going to do it for me here. I'm sorry I had that phone call in the middle. Got me all fucked up. But that was my thoughts on Raw. Let me know what you thought as we barrel on towards Mania here. Coming up real fast. I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time every day for more videos on our channel. And I'm out.